You ever wonder where your life's headed? I mean, where things are going, where this journey is taking you? Sometimes the road's uncertain, it's mysterious. Sometimes it can feel long as well. There's a man by the name of Ed Stafford. We walked down the beach and dove into the South Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Brazil. He might have looked like any other beach visitor that day, but Ed wasn't. Ed thought he might never make it to the Atlantic Ocean that day. You see, Ed, an hour before, had collapsed on the side of the road. Might not have even made it to that beach because Ed had just become the first person in human history to walk the entire length of the Amazon River to the coast in Brazil. There's another man by the name of Slavomir Rowitz, who was captured by communist Russians early in World War II. He and a few of his comrades escaped, and they set off toward freedom in India, 4,000 miles away. They set off on foot across the Siberian tundra, across the Gobi Desert, and there was a little range of mountains in the way. What's it called? The Himalayas. They made it to where they were going. I wonder what is the farthest that you've ever walked? What's the farthest journey that you've taken? For some of you, that's a long walk, I'm sure. That's some good hikers around. But whatever it is, it's probably not as far as George Holzer walked. George Holzer walked 418 miles. No rest, no sleep. That walk took him 6 days, 10 hours, and 58 minutes. 6 days, 10 hours, and 58 minutes. People can walk some amazing distances. People can take some amazing journeys. But I'm not sure anybody's ever walked a road that felt any longer than some of the followers of Jesus walked after his death on a supposed 7-mile journey from Jerusalem to a town called Emmaus. You see, when those followers of Jesus set off on that journey, they were heartbroken. They had loved Jesus. They had given their lives to him. They had followed him. They had thought he was the one, the Messiah, the Holy One of God, the one who had come to make things right, to change everything. And then they had watched him be tortured, beaten, nailed to a cross, crucified, and put in a tomb. And then later there were stories about some women who said they had gone to the tomb and it was empty, and others who had gone and said, yeah, it was empty, and they didn't know what to make of any of this. But they set out on a 7-mile journey to a town called Emmaus. And see, one of the interesting things about Emmaus is there's never an Emmaus on any map. Never a historical record of any kind to a place called Emmaus. Was there really that town? Or were these travelers really metaphorically on the road to nowhere? Uncertain, scared, confused. I'm sure you've been on some roads like that in your life. Maybe it was in the early days after you had gotten a divorce, or after a medical diagnosis that had changed everything for you on a dime. Maybe it was when you lost somebody close to you and you wondered what life was now. Maybe it was when you got that rejection letter from that college that you had your heart so set on. Or maybe it was when you got fired from a job and you did not see that coming at all. Maybe you feel like you're on that road right now, uncertain as to where life is going or where it's taking you or what it's all about. And I think collectively, together, we're kind of on that journey, aren't we? We're just coming out of a pandemic, trying to get our feet back on the ground and get life back to normal. And now we've got a war in Ukraine and Russia beamed into our homes 24 hours a day. And when you watch that news coverage, it breaks your heart. But you also feel super helpless because you feel like you can't do anything about it. And then you can say, well, I'm going to turn it off. I'm not going to watch all that. But then you feel like you're just turning away from the pain in the world, and that feels strange too. You've got inflation. You go to fill up your car with gas, and you're like, what in the world? Things are expensive, uncertain. We got political divides on steroids going on all around us. We have a community here in Steamboat Springs where it's harder and harder for people to live. And we might wonder, with all this going on, where's it heading? Where's it lead? Where is it taking us? In this story in the Gospel of Luke, these travelers, these followers of Jesus, they walk the road after his death. And they walk the road, and they walk the road with a stranger. And as they walk on that journey, as they walk down that road, they're talking about what happened in Jerusalem, trying to make sense of it. You know what that's like when you've experienced something really difficult and you're processing and trying to make some kind of sense of what's just gone on. And as they travel and they do that, the journeyer, the one who goes with them, says, what are you talking about? And they're like, what do you mean? What are we talking about? Are you the only one in Jerusalem who has no idea what just happened? So they tell him about this one Jesus, who they loved, who they followed. They tell him about how he moved them, what he meant to them, how they believed in him. And then they say this amazing and haunting phrase. They say, we had hoped that he was the one. Oh. Can you feel this, the deep pain in that? We had hoped that he was the one. You might know that phrase in your life. We had hoped that our child would be born healthy. We had hoped that things would work out. We had hoped to find happiness. We hoped we would have more time in retirement together. We had hoped. We had hoped is a phrase I think so many of us know. And as they walk with that traveler, they talk about these things. And they explain to that stranger what this Jesus meant to them. When they get to where they're going to stay for the night, that stranger keeps right on walking. He just keeps heading down the road. He doesn't stop. But then they cry out to him. They call out to him and say, wait, stay with us. Stay with us. And that stranger stays. And then later together in that evening, they break bread. And when they break bread together, they realize this is not a stranger at all. He is still with us. They recognize him. And when they recognize him, then he vanishes from their sight. I don't know what to do with that. He vanishes from their sight. But here's the thing. They know that he is still with them. He's still with them despite this crucifixion that they've seen. Despite that tomb they saw him placed in, he's still with them. Despite the fact he just vanishes from their sight, they know now that he is still with them. And that makes all the difference. The truth is in life, none of us know where the road is headed. None of us knows where this leads. The journey of your life and mine, it's unmapped. It's yet to unfold. It's out there before us, and none of us knows what that is. So maybe one of the lessons we take from this is this timeless message that really it's not about the destination. It's not about Emmaus, whether there was a place like that or not. It's not about the destination. It's really about the journey. It's really about the journey and how we share that journey, how we take that journey, and who walks the road with us. You know, one thing I take from this story in the gospel is that those travelers, they walk together. They don't walk the road alone. And that's so powerful. We have to have people to share the journey with us, don't we? It's too tough to do on our own. It's too difficult. My hope and prayer for you is that you have traveling companions, people to share the journey with you, people to walk alongside you. And that as faith community, as church community together, we create that kind of place where nobody walks alone, where we gather together and say, you know what, we're on this journey together. We're in it with one another. We can gather together and you can talk about, you know what, maybe I'm stressed out about the war or life or the economy or uncertainties or whatever. And we can say, you know what, yeah, I am too. I struggle too. I get stressed out too. But we'll share the journey. We'll encourage each other. We'll walk side by side and we'll find our way. We'll get down that road together. And then we can realize that the presence of Christ is with us, just like it was for those travelers on the road. The presence of Christ is with us even like them when we don't recognize it, when we don't feel it, when we can't see it. That presence is still there with us. And at times we'll recognize it and we'll see it and we'll know it. We are on that journey together. And maybe, like those travelers, we can cry out to the risen Christ, stay with us. Stay with us. Strengthen us. Encourage us. Guide us. Give us wisdom for this journey. You know what? We don't know where the road leads. It goes around the bend and ends up who knows where. But we know we don't walk the road alone. And we know the presence of Christ is with us every step of the way. And that's enough. And that is enough. May you be blessed and strengthened on your journey. May you be blessed every step of the way. And I know that it's my privilege and honor that we share this journey together. Blessings on all the roads you travel, wherever they may lead.